Welcome to episode 336 of In Touch with iOS, the show that talks about iPhone, iPad, Apple Watch, Apple TV, Vision Pro, and related technologies. I'm your host, Dave Ginsburg, and we've got our usual contributors to the show this week. Let's start off with Jeff Gamet. He's back. How you doing, Jeff? Welcome back to the show.
I'm doing well. Sorry I had to miss I've lost track. Sorry I had to miss some time.
That's okay, but we missed you. But you were here in spirit. You were here in spirit, and now we got
here with all of you.
A great show. And then we are recording on Friday mornings. I had a little bit of an appointment I had to take care of Thursday, so we're doing it today. So thanks everybody for being here. And also great to be here is Ben Roethig. How you doing, Ben?
I'm doing fantastic. I'm happy to be here with these fine gentlemen.
Yes, I am too.
And Jeff.
As well as Marty Jencius is here. How you doing, Marty?
Doing this earlier in the day, I've only done my morning drinking. I haven't done my afternoon drinking or my early evening drinking. So I don't know how on game I'm going to be today.
I feel your pain,
just
Marty.
Fine.
I feel no pain, Jeff.
Well, that's because you probably started drinking before I did today.
All right. Well, we got a lot to talk about this week, as we always do. It seems Apple's been pretty busy. 18.2 dropped. We'll be hitting on that. A lot of Vision Pro discussion. We're going to have some lively conversation. So let's go ahead and go into the first topic, as we always do, with In Touch with Vision Pro. Well, all the releases have come out. We'll hit the other ones in a minute here, but Apple did release Vision OS 2.2. It's now in the hands of everybody. This was a major update to the operating system that came out in September, which was 2.1. You can download it through the Vision Pro headsets by navigating to that settings app, to general section, and choose the software update option. And as you know, when you install the update, the Vision Pro headset needs to be removed, and there is a software progress bar available on the front eyesight display. So what the 2.2 added was a wide and ultra wide aspect ratios to the Mac virtual display features, so you can get much more workspace working with the Vision Pro as a display off of your Mac. It's equivalent to 5K monitors side by side. So, and all the features are really talked about. I don't think it's much different for us, Marty, because we've been running the beta for a while. So anything else that you noticed?
Yeah, what's different is the zeitgeist on it. Suddenly Mac World thinks it's a great thing, or Mac Rumors thinks it's a great thing. And if you follow Reddit or you follow Discord groups on it, everybody's going wild about it.
Yeah, it is.
For those of us who's been testing it for a while, it's cool. But now I guess these final versions have worked a lot on pass-through and clarity, and people are real excited about that with the 2.2 full release.
Yeah, no, and it'll continue. Apple will continue to make it even better. Ben or Jeff, do you have anything to add about this? I don't know if you had anything that you've been seeing.
Yep, I do. This makes it a much better value proposition. If you look at an ultra wide 5K display like this, you're paying about, what is it, $1,500?
Yep.
So the fact that you have, different types of reality, spatial computing, plus basically your entire high resolution desktop in one package. This is starting to get very compelling for those of us who it wasn't very compelling before.
Yeah. So
strapping two 5K displays to your head, believe me, it's not easy.
It isn't.
So
that's a lot of duct tape.
Right. Yeah. It was. And maybe a couple extra straps too. Yep. Go check it out, and you'll be hearing more about it as time goes by here. So, other topic I want to hit on Vision Pro is Apple Vision Pro was named the 2024 Innovation of the Year. It was named by Popular Science magazine. It's their annual list of the 50 greatest innovations celebrating groundbreaking achievements in science and technology. And this year, Apple Vision Pro earned top spot, According to Popular Science, the device represents a pivotal moment in AR innovation, providing a glimpse of the future of immersive computing. So, and it goes through a lot of the details, including the 23 megapixel display system, over 4K resolution for each eye, and all the other stuff. So it's great to hear, don't you guys think, Jeff?
Yeah.
Yeah, it
yes.
just makes sense. Just makes sense with all of the technology they've crammed into that device and how it works.
Thank you for that insight, Jeff.
Yeah, no problem.
I'm totally being a butt.
Yeah,
I know you
Jeff
are.
sounds a lot
Oh.
like Marty these days.
I've been working on my impressions. Yeah, wait till I start doing my Chuck Joyner impression. And Marty, you'll be glad that you day drink.
Okay, Rusty, what did you have to say?
Go for
Marty?
it, Jeff.
You have to go wait in the car again. What did I have to? Oh, I remember now.
Innovation of the year.
Innovation of the year. Right. Okay. Apple getting an innovation of the year recognition, I think it is super important because to me, it says that more people, or at least people that are involved in creating these awards, are getting that Vision Pro isn't just a VR headset. And that's an important distinction that more of the public needs to understand, because I think right now there are a lot of people that still think that paying $3,500 for a MetaQuest that Amazon or the other bad guy, Facebook Meta sells for a fraction of the cost. Anyhow, point being, this is the kind of visibility that Apple needs.
Definitely. How about you, Ben?
Yeah, this is definitely the giant step forward in what they call it, immersive computing that we've been looking for. I mean, granted, it's not affordable to most users, and it can't do everything as well as a MetaQuest as we're about to talk about. But it's gotten good. It's gotten good enough where Google is now copying it with Android XR.
Absolutely. Yeah.
I think Popular Science, this wasn't some niche little,
No, not at all.
magazine or online journal. It was Popular Science. They have a lot to choose from when they look at innovation of the year. So it's very cool.
Yeah, for sure. Also very cool. In addition to what they've added to Vision OS 2.2 is Apple Vision Pro apps get a 5G boost. 5G may not be the first thing that comes to mind when you think of the Apple Vision Pro. After all, there's no built-in cellular option, but it turns out that iOS 18.2 and Vision OS 2.2 introduce a low-key 5G enhancement for Apple Vision Pro apps. But what you basically, starting with iOS 18.2 and Vision OS 2.2, both available now, the apps are going to be able to take advantage of a new feature called Enhanced 5G for Apps. And Apple explains that it's a personal hotspot lets you share the cellular data connection of your iPhone or your iPad with other devices like Apple Vision Pro. If you use a supported carrier network that has a qualifying plan, the Enhanced 5G for Apps can provide you with optimized experience for supportive apps on the Vision Pro. So, of course, you're going to have a compatible iPhone or iPad. We all pretty much have that. The 15 or 16 should be good. And iPads, got different models of the more recent ones. Then you just got to go into the settings under what Apple just provides these steps. You go to on the iPhone, go tap cellular, tap Enhanced 5G for apps. If you don't see it, make sure your iPhone or iPad supports it. And then you can turn it on and off. And once it's activated, the Vision Pro apps will be optimized. What do you think, Marty?
When I quickly went through this and didn't understand the process, but the first thing I thought about was the other rumor that came out this week is that they're going to start embedding 5G chips in Vision Pro and MacBooks. And I'm wondering if this is just fits well with that potential platform.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Guys, have any other thoughts, Jeff?
Even though Marty has given me all kinds of crap today, I'm still compelled to say Marty nailed it.
There you go.
Yeah, this is something that is definitely for the future. That if you're like us, and in addition to a Vision Pro, spent a lot of money on the high-end Apple phone, it's useful to you now.
Yep. And lastly, on the Vision Pro, I think we're going to have a good lively conversation about this. Apple hopes to save Vision Pro with a fresh gaming strategy. It's going to be, the rumor is that they're going to be teaming up with Sony to sell the third-party VR gaming controllers in the Apple stores. You know, and of course, the author of the article says that the headset hasn't caught the imagination of the world's gamers, which is a failing which may be just partially down to the fact that it doesn't support any dedicated VR gaming controllers. You can use a PS5 and Xbox controller with the headset, but it doesn't support the third-party grip accessories specifically designed for VR content, and that's the problem. So this is all quoted out from Bloomberg, and Mark Gurman claims that the company is currently working on with Sony to build the support for these VR2 controllers into Vision Pro. But it's a more complex project than you think, but not because it's Sony that doesn't currently sell the controllers on their own. It's only available when bundled with the VR2 itself. But the controllers are going to be available for the Vision Pro that owners would buy require Sony to undertake the logistic work for the package to ship. So there's logistics issues here about this too. So we're going to open right up to Ben because we were waiting to hear what your thoughts are on this because you are a gamer, and where do you think this is going to go?
Look, first off, I am very thankful I just listened to the latest episode of Connected on this, is because Jason Snell absolutely nailed it. Look, if you're doing a productivity general interface kind of task, the current hand-based interface is fine. If you need precision, it can't do that. Games need precision. Certain high-end specific apps need precision. And for that, controllers are a much better option. And if you look around the landscape, well, there are 3D controllers available, and thankfully Apple is supposedly doing the same thing that it has with its other platforms. Instead of going like, okay, let's build our controller, it's, hey, let's let everybody else spend the money and we'll just take advantage of that. You know, right now, Vision Pro is great for a lot of brand new things, but it's just not that good as a VR gaming platform. These controllers will make it that. And I think that's one of the things you'll see kind of going forward, especially when we go from the Vision Pro to eventually the mainstream Vision, that the more things that Vision OS can do as a platform, the better for the platform itself. It's not going to be just really high-end productivity tasks and Mac add-ons. Gaming's got to be part of it for it to go mainstream.
Marty?
Yeah, I get excited with the possibilities. I'm excited about hearing Ben's take on it, because I think of him when I think of gaming and what's necessary for it. And so, you know, I am kind of an optimist around this. I think if Apple has, Ben has in the past been asking, why doesn't Apple just buy a gaming, platform?
Yes,
Well, this I think is the next.
That.
Yeah, this is the next best thing, I think, if they start opening up their device for external controllers that'll work with that. Because, Sony can start porting over games that will work well within the Apple Vision ecosystem, and everybody's happy. It's a win-win for Sony, and it's a win-win for Apple.
Yeah, and when it comes to consumer space, let's be honest. No matter what you want to call this particular slice of the computing universe, Meta's eating everybody's lunch in it right now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Jeff, got thoughts on this?
Oh, yes. I have thoughts. Okay, so first, when Ben talked about the precision element being missing right now, that's something that hadn't occurred to me. probably because I don't have a Vision Pro. And so what I'm feeling now is that the PlayStation style game controllers, the VR game controllers that Apple will eventually have available, that's akin to making Apple Pencil for the iPad, because
Yeah.
it's like Ben said, it's about the precision. So that's good. All right. Now, I take umbrage with the headline in this article. WTF Macworld. Seriously? This is a clickbait headline, and it's completely inappropriate. This is not about Apple trying to save the Vision Pro. Apple is playing the long game. We have said this before. They don't need to have a jillion sales a quarter of Vision Pro right now. They need to have it out in the wild so people can use it, developers can develop for it, and they can learn how we use this, and then they can iterate. They're already working on version 2 and version 3 of this. This is not about Apple trying to save the platform. Holy forking shirt balls, bull.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, let's be honest. Marty and Dave are kind of like early beta testers.
Oh yeah, yes, absolutely. And thank you for doing that for us, so that when Ben and I get around to getting a Vision Pro, it will be much more refined thanks to the pain and suffering that you two are going through.
Yes. Thank you, guys.
Did they just call us suckers?
I think so.
Okay.
No, Rusty, I didn't call you a sucker.
I think of a show title. Oh my gosh.
I would say more pioneer, less sucker.
Yep.
Yes. You two are so brave that you rush in where angels fear to tread.
That's why
Absolutely.
we run betas.
Yep.
Absolutely. So it's going to be, I think, a lot to look forward to here with gaming. I'm excited to hear. We'll see what goes next, and if this partnership actually comes to fruition with Sony and Apple. But I can't see why not. And Sony needs to get a little bit of a fire under them to get things more pushing even more with the PS5 and their platform. So let's go ahead. We'll go ahead and move on to the next stories here. We're going to start about the beta. Of course, 18.2 and all the other OSs got released this week to everybody. It's open to everybody to update. But let's talk a little bit about what's going to happen next with beta. There is a PSA here that there is another update. For those of you who are running the beta of 18.2, the RC build, there's going to be a new build available for your devices. And iOS 18.2 has the differences as far as there was version RC and then RC2. Now the official release is 22C152. So make sure that you run that update as well. And looks like a Mac did that as well. Because I did run that on my beta Mac, and I did have to update it as well. So just be aware of that when it comes to the beta updates. And 18.3, which is probably going to be out when, and we would anticipate next week. That's what article here from 9to5Mac talking about. It's all signs point to it launching this next week as we record here, probably around maybe December 12th or 13th. It could be actually today if we have to see it. Absolutely happy to see it as we're recording this, but we'll likely see it. There won't be any holiday impact because lots of times Apple starts winding things down for the year. And if you look back at previous history, this is right around the same time that they've done it for other versions of iOS when they release that too. What are we expecting? They're going to be they're talking about features such as new features in the image playground style sketch, bringing Apple's Mail redesign to iPad and Mac because it doesn't currently have it right now with this release. Then the Genmoji will have a Mac debut. We just can't wait. Robot vacuum support for HomeKit. It'll be interesting to see where that goes. So we'll be talking about it, and there's going to be a lot more to see when it comes to that. So that's anything with the beta. But let's just jump right in now. because it's release week. iOS 18.2 was released, and I want to review some of the changes. What happened, I mean, we've pretty much been talking about it as far as during the beta phase here and everything that was new. You can, of course, run the update by going into settings, general, and software update. You'll get the updates with that. Of course, Apple introduced some new Apple Intelligence features, including the first image generation capabilities of Image Playground. And you have the Genmojis, and now the ChatGPT support is now going to be able to access right from S-Lady or the writing tools. You can compose in writing tools, allows you to create something from scratch with ChatGPT and be able to go through a lot of that stuff. A couple other things that are on here too is the image wand for turning sketches into handwritten or typed notes. The camera control for the iPhone 16 is got some more enhancements with visual intelligence. The camera control helps you instantly learn about places or interaction with information simply by pointing your iPhone at an object, and then you just tap the Google search or ChatGPT. And then the 2-stage shutter will now let you lock focus and exposure in camera when lightly pressing the camera control. A couple things I'm not excited about, I'll be talking about just a bit here, is the mail categorization. Your messages help you prioritize the most important messages. I'd like to hear what you guys think about that. And Digest Views groups all the messages from one sender in a single bundle for easy browsing. I'm on the fence with that. Photos, it's got video viewing improvements, including the ability to scrub frame by frame and set to turn off auto looping and video playback. Improvements with navigation to collection views, and lots more stuff, including Safari. Got some other enhancements, improvements. One of the notable things was voice memos support layered recording, let you add vocals over an existing song idea without the need for headphones, and then you can import your 2-track projects directly into Logic Pro from the iPhone 16 Pro or Pro Max. And there's a number of other things. I'm not going to go through all this stuff. I'd like to know what you guys think, what stands out for you. I don't know. I'm assuming everybody here has it. Jeff, did you already install 18.2?
I did, but I've been very busy. So
yeah, so you haven't had much of a chance to.
I haven't had a chance to really play with anything yet, but I'm glad that it didn't cause any noticeable problems. So
yep. No, so far,
that's always a
me
plus.
too. So Marty, you've been beta testing like me. Where do some of these things stand out for you?
I'm not a big fan of Genmoji or Gmoji, but to go to your question about mail categorization, I use SaneBox for sorting some of my mail, and I know where to find things, for insane later that are not so important. And I think mail categorization is attempting to do that, but I don't have it on all my accounts. So, I mean, I don't have SaneBox on all my accounts. So what I'm finding is if I'm using my phone and mail categorization can stick something into the non-priority mail that really, if I was on my MacBook or on my desktop, it would be sorted the way I want it sorted with SaneBox. And it's just a matter of preference right now. I've got to get used to that sorting process. But yeah, I've already used to that categorization experience by using SaneBox, but doing it on the phone is a little different.
Hey, Marty, I have a hypothesis here. And it's that what Apple's doing with their categorization and sorting features, it's much like they've done with Keychain and now passwords and with their text expansion thing, where they give people the basic useful feature, but if you need more, then there are the third-party options like 1Password and SaneBox that take you to that higher level of control.
Yeah, now I'm anxious because I want Apple to do more categories for me because that would suit my lifestyle and process better.
Ben,
and then I drop SaneBox. Drop SaneBox.
Ben, what's standing out now for you with 18.2 and the features that are out there?
To be perfectly honest, not a lot, other than even better ChatGPT integration. Apple Intelligence is more like Apple almost beginning intelligence. You know,
Yep.
Genmojis isn't quite my thing. I'm a little bit too old for that. The image playground is about 2 to 3 years behind where the competition is. It's kind of a preview of where the puck is going,
Mhm.
but right now the puck is in the minor leagues.
I have a hypothesis about that if you want to hear it or if you want to
Yes,
move on.
please.
Okay.
No, go ahead.
Ben, I my hypothesis is that the sentiment that you just expressed is valid and that this is how a lot of people see Apple's AI efforts. What I think is going on is that these features we're seeing now that feel like they're behind the curve and features that may not appeal to us personally, but do appeal to an important part of Apple's user base. These are the little treats, the little pieces of candy, if you will, that Apple's throwing out to let people know that, hey, yes, we're invested in the whole AI thing, but all the stuff that they've been doing for years that's ahead of everyone else under the hood, the quiet stuff that no one really talks about because we take it for granted at this point. That's where Apple is continuing to push forward, and in many cases is way ahead of its competition. The unfortunate side effect is that throwing out the little flashy features like they are right now, so that they can give that public perception of, hey, look, we're doing stuff. Yeah, a lot of those features are behind what their competitors are doing. And I don't know if it's serving Apple in the way that they want it to, because instead of saying, look at all this great stuff Apple's doing, we're getting the reactions, like Ben, you said, Apple is a couple years behind.
Yeah, I mean, to be perfectly honest, these features are more meant for investors than users.
Yeah, I agree.
I like what Jeff has said, but to me, what separates Apple from a lot of the other AI add-ons that you see with other devices is Apple really feels like it's a personal context. And I know one of the points of argument that people don't like are the summarized notifications. I'm really beginning to get into the summarized notifications because it will collect a whole bunch of stuff that happened while I'm doing something else. And in its own Yoda speak, it will tell me essentially from the responses what I have to look at or not look at when I, can sit down and look at it. So and I just swipe it off my screen and, I know what I'm walking into with the summarized notifications. So,
Yeah,
Mhm.
I'm looking for the day that those notifications get it right, because the idea itself is powerful and useful.
I
Right.
updated both of my parents' iPhone 15s to iOS 18.2 a couple days ago, and they were both super excited about the summarization feature.
Huh. Okay.
And yeah, they are texting with friends and family all day long, and there's like multiple family group chat things or friend groups, and I mean they're busy just talking to people all day long on their phones, and they loved the idea of being able to get a quick summary without having to read through a whole chain so that they're caught up, and then they can go back and read the stuff that they know they need to check out.
Yep. I don't know. I've always been in the world. I just not was there a huge fan of categories. I might give it a chance again, but for now, it's pretty easy to be able to go in and make the change. All you have to do is go into the Mail app. You tap the three dots on the upper corner of your inbox, and then you can select the list view. It's very simple. They made it really simple, and you can toggle show priority or not, or you can go back to categories, and then categories will add that. I'm not a huge fan of the icon they added to each email. I always like the clean list view. I don't know about you guys, but that one I have not seen that you can turn that off. But each email that I get, it has an icon based on what type of communication it is. Whether it's they're selling you something, or if it's a bank, or if it's something from Google Maps or something like that. I understand it. So they're still kind of forcing the categories on you with the icons, but at least it's got a list view.
I wish they would do it like hold on. What's the other email app I'm playing with right now? Spark, where it looks at the domain for the email, and then it goes and gets like the fave icon, or it gets some logo graphic for the for that domain from somewhere. So I'm assuming fave icon, and then drops that onto the notification email, or excuse me, the notification for the email on your home screen. Yeah, I think that's very cool. So being able to see who a message comes from in a sort of visual sense before even to read anything, that's kind of cool. Apple needs to give us that option.
Then I'm going back again. Maybe I'll give it another chance. You could set, like I think all of us here have multiple mailboxes or different email accounts. So the buttons at the top there for category. So you have primary, you can select all mail. That's the all mail. And then you have the cart for transactions. And then you have the updates of anything that's updated for you. And then you have promotions. So they make that pretty easy. And in fact, that's kind of cool. They even filter back some of the older messages that are way back there. It makes it a little easier to find. So I might give it another chance. It's muscle memory. I'm so used to having the list view for all these years, that hard to change,
Can I throw out a harebrained idea?
Yes.
You say that with trepidation. Okay, so when you look at the way Apple is giving you those icons for messages, doesn't that look a lot like Messages? Yeah. Is Apple maybe working on giving us a unified communication app?
Interesting.
Like slowly taking us down the path towards that?
That's a good thought. It's very possible.
Told you it was a harebrained idea.
No, but it makes sense. No, it makes total sense. So that's kind of the standout thing with Mail. I will mention again, I did mention it during the intro here with iOS 18.2. This layered voice memo recordings is for the iPhone 16 Pro, I think is pretty amazing. Apple did team up with Canadian songwriter Michael Bublé and also country star Carly Pearce and record producer to demonstrate the feature. And Michael Bublé actually said that this could be a game changer for music, being able to do this with these voice memos, that you can layer a vocal track on top of an existing instrumental recording and with no headphones needed. Instrumental compositions can be played through the iPhone speaker while vocals are recorded at the same time using the iPhone 16 Pro mics. And Apple does say the feature is driven by the A18 Pro chip with advanced processing and machine learning to isolate the vocal recording. So I have not played with this yet, but I'm kind of looking forward to play around with this a little bit, Have you guys?
I think I have an idea to break up with my partner now. I can put music soundtrack underneath it.
I love day drinking, Marty.
So I think this is a cool new feature. I want to make sure we'll explore this in other episodes here. Take a look. I want to play with this a little more, get my insights on this. So very interesting stuff here. So, but other than that, there's a lot more things we could talk about in iOS 18.2. But we'll continue on to this in future episodes. So with the more features here. So I'll briefly mention WatchOS 11.2 was released today, after where it can be downloaded and opened in the Apple Watch, but using software updates. It does, according to Apple's release notes, it does let you pause video that you're recording in the iPhone using the camera remote app on Apple Watch, as well as it does. The Tides app expands map support for tidal conditions and coastal locations. So not much really to report on Apple Watch as far as WatchOS. So not much else to say about that. And then the HomePod OS and HomePod software was released, and what they did add, that was designed for the HomePod and the HomePod Mini. It adds support for Apple Music natural language search, which means you now can describe what you want to hear in a more casual language. So you can ask the S Lady for music using different combinations of genres, moods, activity, decades, and more. So examples include songs about cats. I know, Ben, you would ask that. Songs with a vibe or relaxing songs. So it's got some enhanced. The update also improved enhanced dialogue with the Apple TV 4K for making clearer speech. So they add some cool things on this. Jeff, you being the HomePod aficionado, what's your thoughts on this?
I'm very much looking forward to trying this out. Updates are installed on all my HomePods, and I didn't get home in time last to really play with this. So I'll be doing my testing, potentially some griping after we're done recording today. But this will be cool. Like you said, hey, play me songs about cats. Play me songs about pants.
Or not.
Or not. Yeah. And I want to play with it and see how much I can refine this. Like play me 60s style lounge piano jazz.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And see what I get.
Yeah.
Hopefully a lot of Christmas songs right now.
Yeah, probably.
Oh, see, okay. And there's a thing. Do all of that and then end it with, but not holiday music or only holiday music. And see if it can really refine what you're listening to that level. That would be really cool.
Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So what you're saying, Jeff, is the best is yet to come, and won't it be fine?
Yes, Ben, that's exactly what I'm saying. Yes.
Yes. tvOS had just two features that were added, I guess supported, if you want to call it. There's a new Snoopy screensavers and projector support. It'll now be able to work with larger aspect ratios for projectors. So we kept that. So beyond that, there really isn't much else exciting about tvOS. That's 18.2 for tvOS. And that's pretty much it with the releases for this week. And I'm sure we'll be hearing more as beta comes, but it'll start slowing a little bit here too. And we'll see where that goes. A couple things I wanted to mention in touch with Mac this week. macOS Sequoia 15.2 was with new Apple Intelligence features. So the update has now added ChatGPT integration with the S Lady, which is an opt-in feature. When enabled, the S Lady will be able to hand complicated requests over to ChatGPT. It can essentially do much of what the dedicated ChatGPT app can do, but with the convenience of the S Lady instead of third party. So that's, I think, a lot of what was there. And they, of course, added Image Playground in Mac as well, and that kind of stuff. Anything stand out with you guys with Mac OS on this at all? Besides this,
I did install Tall Trees 15.2, and I like how it gives you a walkthrough process to granularly enable or block the AI features you want.
Yep.
So
that's good.
That was cool. Like for me, I never went to talk to my Mac. The S Lady has enough trouble figuring out what device I'm talking to anyhow.
This is true.
If I throw my Mac into it, it's just going to be a crap storm. So, it's nice being able to go through, and when you got to that part where you actually talk to your computer, I just said no, and it kept going, and that was fine.
Yeah. Anything else you guys want to add about macOS?
It's, right. I've been playing with the beta so long, it's hard to that. And I think I mentioned this in some point before. When it's finally released, it's sort of like you've opened your Christmas presents a couple of weeks early. So Christmas is not as much fun.
Or a couple of months.
Yeah, months. Yep. So, well, now everybody else has something to look forward to. So, one other thing I noticed here that this was published here to Apple today made a mistake with its update by releasing software for two Macs that are not yet to be launched. There is a software file for Mac 16,12 and Mac 16,13, which are the upcoming MacBook Air models. Those would be the references to the M4 13-inch 2025 and the 4 15-inch 2025. So I don't see there going to be any design updates. I would anticipate that's going to probably be around spring of of 2025. So this is kind of actually kind of interesting because Apple tries to be so secretive of when they're going to release things, and all these smart people out there that are able to crawl through the code in macOS, and they find this very easily. So
That is
Well, was it intentional, or was it just,
could be.
or what are we going to do? Release another version of it when these other MacBooks come out, when we're really not changing anything fundamentally except the processor?
I can tell you, I won't be upgrading because the M3 is perfectly fine. Thank you.
Yep. But I can tell you this, with the features we saw on the M4 base MacBook Pro, the 15-inch MacBook Air M4 is going to be an awfully compelling machine.
Yeah, for those who are in the market for something new. Yep, for sure. So that's In Touch with Mac this week. Let's go ahead and jump into the news. One of the first stories I want to talk about this week is we just been talking about Apple Intelligence features. Keynote, Pages, and Numbers both get Apple Intelligence features. They released this yesterday as I record this, and it's for support for both Mac and iOS and iPadOS with Apple Intelligence features, with the ChatGPT Lady integration, writing tools, image playground that were largely introduced in iOS and iPadOS and macOS. All three apps support writing tools for proofreading, summarizing, rewriting, composing text, with the latter feature relying on ChatGPT. It'll be able to answer questions, what's in presentations, documents, and spreadsheets. And Pages, Numbers, and Keynote will also offer the image playground support. So now there's an option to create original images that can be included into the iWork documents. I'm kind of excited about this, guys. I don't know about you guys, but this is even making the Apple versions of their Microsoft counterparts even more compelling to use. I mean, I try to use them as much as possible, but being worked on, I'm more in the Microsoft ecosystem. It's hard to do that. But what do you think, Jeff?
Yeah, well, you've nailed it. This helps make Apple's, do we still call it the iWork suite?
Well, I guess I don't think Apple does anymore, but that's an easy way to identify it.
Yeah. This makes that suite of productivity apps more compelling for a lot of people. This is never going to overtake Office or Google Suite.
No.
But having the ability to have native apps that aren't phoning home all kinds of data and give you the features you need, I think that's great. And and what I'm looking forward to is really experimenting with the ability to see what's in documents. And what I'm hoping is that with the new AI features and the new searchability, this will allow me to do things like say, find me the document where I talk about cloud server security features relating to a specific whatever security threat is going on. And now instead of having to do a search just on keywords or whatever, I can just do like a Star Trek style natural sentence and get that search that I need that gives me accurate results.
Yep. What do you think, Marty?
I was just blown away from what Jeff just said. I think part of my frustration is trying to find a document, and how do I do the search? What does it pull up? When does it pull it up? It might be a document from maybe a presentation I gave in 2013. I don't want that presentation. I want the one that I gave 2 years ago. Just the idea of being able to do voice or even text searches that allow for that kind of granularity. Now, I do some stuff on Word and some of the other Microsoft products, and I don't see them integrating AI into them at all at this point. I have to go out and do that. I have to use an ancillary app, but having it built into the ecosystem really, I think, is a big plus. Particularly, if they roll out some short videos or maybe commercials for Apple that shows how somebody can do that in a quick little bit, and it shows up on their screen. Yeah.
How about you, Ben?
First, I would like to say this. Grammarly, I'm sorry I'm breaking up with you.
Yeah.
It's not you, it's Apple.
Ben, do not apologize. And it's okay to give them some tough love and say, Grammarly, it's you. I mean, the bonus you're getting here is that you're not feeding your content into a system that is learning from everything you're creating. It's all being done locally. Grammarly is sucking up everything that you're typing. And so if you're working on something for a client where it's proprietary information, you don't want that stuff going to Grammarly or ChatGPT because you could be unintentionally revealing NDA information. You don't have to worry about that anymore.
Yes. But I mean, on the serious side, as a independent writer with no editor, writing tools is something that is very good now and will be even better in the future. Sometimes
Sure.
you do need a second look at your article. I know I sure do.
We all do.
And yeah, this makes it better.
Yeah, Ben,
Mhm.
you can now break up with Grammarly by sending him a text message with Michael Bublé playing in the background.
Yeah.
That's a good one. I'm gonna try that. All right. Next story here. This is more on the rumor side, but fun to talk about. New Apple TV and HomePod Mini launching in 2025. Apple plans to refresh both the Apple TV and the HomePod Mini in 2025 as part of a major push into refreshing its smart home product offerings. Of course, our friend Mark Gurman of Bloomberg reported this. It's in a report on an upcoming Apple-designed Bluetooth and Wi-Fi chip, and Gurman says that the chip will be introduced in a new Apple TV and HomePod Mini that are scheduled, quote unquote, for 2025. While there's no exact timeline included, it's mentioned that the chip will be included in iPhones later next year, which suggests that it will come to the HomePod Mini and Apple TV before the September timeframe. The component will support Wi-Fi 6E, although Apple may not be able to match all of Broadcom's chip capabilities in that in-house chip. And adopting the customized design Wi-Fi and Bluetooth chip will allow Apple to upcoming smart devices to work better. They're also working on a home hub command center that's set to come out in 2025, but it's not clear if that device will use that custom chip. The command center will have a 6-inch display, the built-in speaker and camera, and it will be able to control smart home devices, make video calls, and more. Jeff, I'm going to throw this right at you because of the HomePod. Really, what do you think on this?
I am totally game for Apple updating these devices. HomePod
long
Mini.
time.
Yeah. HomePod Mini is way overdue at this point. And then Apple TV, there's a lot of people out there like me that still aren't running an Apple TV 4K because there wasn't anything compelling enough for our use cases to make that jump. A new Apple TV comes out in 2025. At that point, replacing my Apple TV HD or throwing it in the box that I have my portable projector in, yeah, that makes sense. It's time to get another refresh to Apple TV. HomePod Mini, please make it happen sooner in 2025 as opposed to later.
Agreed.
Shut up
What
and
about you,
take
Ben?
my money, Apple.
What about you, Ben?
Yeah, I'm kind of in the same boat. I'm still on one TV in the house. I'm still running my OG first generation Apple TV 4, aka the HD before the HD. So literally, I have almost every TV OS device in my house. I mean, granted, that OG tvOS Apple TV still works brilliantly with a small TV, but Apple, use your newfound chip powers to actually throw us a TV Mini.
Ben, here's another thing that Apple could do. Give us one of these newer, more powerful M series chips in an Apple TV.
Oh, yes.
And now it's a
Oh, yeah.
game console. Like they say, this is your all-in-one home entertainment system, and game console.
Yes, I want that too. Which, by the way, Ben's House of Crackpocket Theories, which I'm stealing from Kelly, that new Mac Mini form factor would be great for a game console.
Right?
It would-
You could even
would be.
put extra storage in there. Hey, Ben, since Kelly has the House of Crackpot Theories, we can have Ben's Crackpot Theory condo.
There you go.
Yes. Yes. It is the $1 million House of Crackpot Theories.
Yes, it is.
Yes, it is. Marty, how about you?
I just about an hour ago pressed the button on buying a new Apple TV
Oh,
as
thank
a
you.
gift for a relative coming up this Christmas, and they'll be
Nice.
excited to have it, and they won't know the fact that the next gen is coming out possibly early next year. I heard another interpretation of this rumor that the home device will be more like an iPad on the wall. And, so crackpot rumors, I would be rather excited to purchase a couple of these for my household that basically are screens you hang on the wall. It could have camera capabilities, but it could also be connected. Instead of thinking of it as an iPod or a HomePod that sits on a table with a screen on it, think of it as a screen that hangs on the wall, like an iPad that has these kinds of functionalities. And for me, that I will stand in line to get that.
Yep. And
Yep.
suddenly I'm having fantasies of it replacing my thermostat.
Do you want to get a taste of that today?
Oh,
Seriously.
I know there's devices that do that.
Well-
I just want one from Apple that will actually stick around.
If you have an iPad, a spare iPad, throw controller for HomeKit on it. One of their recent updates added this whole thing where you can turn like an iPad into your smart home control center.
Mm-hmm. I know.
Pretty slick.
That is slick. iCloud Plus storage price hikes, but it's only happening in 10 countries this year. Over the past several months, Apple has raised prices in some or all Apple iCloud Plus storage plans in 10 countries, including Japan, South Korea, Thailand, Indonesia, Turkey, Pakistan, Nigeria, Egypt, Tanzania, and the Philippines. The updated prices in these countries are listed in a support document on Apple's website. So it looks about an average about 15% increase. I'm curious to know if that anything will happen in the U.S. What do you guys think?
It'll happen.
Yeah.
It's inevitable.
Maybe not today, but it'll happen.
Yeah, and then we still get stuck with five gigabytes of base storage too.
Well, they won the lawsuit, so they're getting cocky.
Yeah. Yeah. If anybody doesn't know, there was their lawsuit against it was a class action lawsuit against Apple. They threw that case out, then they won. So 5 gigabytes of base storage it is. So nothing much else to say about that. And there was several Apple TV Plus shows that scored Google Golden Globe nominations. No, not Google. So the popular series Slow Horses has been nominated for Best Drama. While Disclaimer, a psychological thriller miniseries starring Cate Blanchett, also was nominated for Best Limited Series. I tell you, Slow Horses is an amazing show. If you aren't watching that show, it's awesome. Gary Oldman is incredible in that show. Disclaimer is a good show as well. And then Jason Segel and Harrison Ford were nominated for Best Comedy Performance for Shrinking. I absolutely love that show. And it'll be announced in January. So it's exciting to hear the more continued awards for Apple TV Plus content. And it just continues on to be a great platform for original content. What you guys think?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I'm kind of moving back to the phase where it's time to pick the headset up again, which I do, but not as much as I normally would, and make that the entertainment device and start to get into some of these series that I hadn't gotten into, or like Silo has started back up again, and I haven't jumped into that program, and it's been out for more than a couple of weeks, so it's time for me to start that flow again.
Yeah.
And
Yes,
And
the
Severance.
pact says we must all watch.
And then Severance will be back in next month
I
too.
get
So
Yeah, I know. I gotta get the first series of that done before next month. So
Oh,
Yep.
yes, you do.
yes, you do. Couple Microsoft stories. I know, should I be talking about that dirty word? But this story will be perfect if Chuck Joyner was here. Microsoft Teams for iPad now supports external webcams. Microsoft this week released an update to the Teams app on the iPad that adds an important new feature. With the new version, Microsoft Teams users with iPad OS can now connect an external webcam rather than the iPad's built-in camera. This is made possible by an API introduced last year in iPad OS 17, which enables support for external webcams and microphones connected to the USB-C port. At the same time, developers can add support for these accessories to their apps. So Microsoft is no different on that. And yeah, in the corporate world, we are living in Teams this year. I do as well. So this is a nice thing to have. You can travel and carry around a webcam with you and pop it up on your iPad instead of to fire up your laptop, right?
You know,
It's Microsoft.
it's not about
It's Microsoft
whether or
Teams.
but it's not about whether or not we like, enjoy, look forward to using these tools. It's
We'll
about
have to.
making sure that they have all the features that are necessary for the people that rely on these tools. So adding the external webcam support, that's super important. It needed to happen.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean,
because the internal webcam was not good enough on an iPad.
Oh, which it is. I think it is. But,
Yeah, I mean, I don't understand the logic. It's like putting rims on a Yugo. Spinning rims.
that was
Even
a
the
good one.
picture in the article, it's like, why would I want to do that? I've got an iPad. But okay.
You know,
Yeah,
if you have a setup in your office where you're expected to use specific stuff,
Yep.
and it should just be like modular for what computer's plugged into it. It's and granted, most of us aren't going to want to use the external camera, but having the ability to do so, since it's available in their tools on other platforms, it's important to have it here so you have feature parity.
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, the only thing I can say is this. Number one, Microsoft shouldn't have to add this. This should be a system level API that Apple automatically adds in.
Right.
And two, now Apple, add a USB-C port to the Apple TV so Microsoft can do that there too.
Well, isn't the API for the external devices like the cameras already there, and it's up to Microsoft to hook into it? I'm asking because I think I'm right, but I'm not certain. I mean, you can already plug in external microphones, and as long as the app you're using is correctly coded to use Apple's sound system, the API hooks are already enabled. So maybe Microsoft did their own wonky thing with cameras, and they finally fixed it.
Yep.
I'm speculating here.
Okay. Last story. I can't believe I'm wrapping up on another Microsoft story here this week. Microsoft introduced a feature that enables file sharing between iPhone and Windows PCs. Microsoft this week has announced a new feature coming soon to Windows that will let users easily share files between the iPhone and a PC, similar to what Apple's AirDrop does, which is, of course, only available on Apple devices. It's becoming a reality now. As it's detailed in a blog post, the company is now rolling out a beta version of the phone link for registered users in the in the Windows Insider program. That includes the new feature for sharing files between iPhones and PCs. Those who are unfamiliar, the phone link for Windows app from Microsoft that lets users connect their phones, whether it's iOS or Android, to their PC wirelessly. Once paired, the user will be able to see notifications and then answer calls on their PC and so on and so forth. So to me, it looks like Microsoft is finally just realizing, you know what, we got to get these iPhone users to be using our Windows PCs of those who don't have Macs. So what do you guys think?
I have more thoughts if you want to hear them.
Please do.
Yeah, Microsoft has figured out that the way they win, the way they want to win, is to make sure that their products are accessible everywhere on every platform. So knowing that there are a ton of Windows users who have iPhones, why not enable things like this so that your iPhone integrates even more seamlessly with your Windows platform? They're not going to win them over to some other phone platform. So why not give them what you need to be able to use your iPhone with the desktop platform they want everyone on?
Yep.
Yeah. If you need any more of an idea that Windows Phone is so dead that it's pretty much just it's been eaten by the worms at this point. This is it.
Yeah.
Even the witches of Dathomir could not bring a Windows Phone back to life.
Yes. Or pretty.
Right?
Yeah. All right. So I might check that out to see what the experience is. Most corporate setups probably won't allow it, so because that's a bit of a security risk, but
A bit.
just a bit, just a little. So, all right. With that, thanks, guys. This was a great show. We had a lot of great things to talk about this week, and we'll go ahead and wrap up for this week. That's a wrap for this week. Please send your comments, questions, and suggestions to our email address, which is feedback@intouchwithios.com. You can follow us on Blue Sky and Mastodon at InTouchWithIOS. Support the show by buying me a coffee at intouchwithios.com/coffee. We really appreciate it. You can become a patron of the show by going to patreon.com/intouchwithios. We have 2 tiers available to support the show. We would really appreciate it. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe so when you're notified when we are live streaming. Usually it's on Thursday nights at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, 5 p.m. Pacific on our YouTube channel, which is youtube.com/intouchwithios, where you can watch the current and past live streams and listen to past shows. Visit In Touch with iOS magazine on Flipboard, where many of the topics we've discussed are flipped into that magazine. The link is in our show notes. You can subscribe to the show in your favorite podcatcher, including Pocket Casts, Overcast, Apple Podcasts, many others. But just go to our website, intouchwithios.com, where all the links to all the ways to listen to us are on that website. I am Dave Ginsburg. You can find me on Blue Sky and Mastodon at DaveG65. Ben Roethig, thank you for being here. Appreciate it. Where can people find you?
Well, you can find me, excuse me, you can find me on social media at Ben Roethig. I'm on all of them. Unfortunately, I have no life. You can find my writings and ravings at roethigtech.com. You can also find me on such podcasts as The Mac Show on the British Tech Network, Mac Voices Live with Chuck Joyner, and of course, here on In Touch with iOS when I'm not working.
Yep. Thanks. Appreciate you being here. And Marty Jencius, thank you for being here. Appreciate it. Where can people find you?
You can find me at Jencius, Jencius, at Blue Sky, and also mastodon.social. And favorite show right now, takes a lot of work, enjoy the heck out of it, is Vision Profiles on Monday nights at 9 p.m. You can find us on YouTube or listen to the content in another stream. And Old Mac Gang on Wednesday nights at 9 p.m., which is issues that are hopefully being addressed by folks 65 and plus with technology. And just having a fun time just starting that show out. Also, Tuesdays with Chuck Joyner on Mac Voices Live, and of course, Thursdays generally with Dave here on In Touch with iOS.
All right. Thanks, Marty. Last but certainly not least, Jeff Gamet. So glad you're here and glad you made it this week. And where can people find you?
I'm so glad I'm here too, and I'm just really pleased to get to spend time with all of you. So where can people find me? Social media, Jay Gamet on everything. The places that I'm active mostly are Mastodon, Instagram, and Blue Sky, turns out. Then for shows, most Tuesdays on Chuck Joyner's Mac Voices Live, most Thursdays, but today Friday, on Dave's show, In Touch with iOS. On the British Tech Network, I get to hang out with Ben a lot on the Big Show and the Mac Show. Brian Chaffin and I do the Context Machine, and then Patrice Brendamore and I do Retro Rewatch. Check out the cool mug. Oh my gosh. Retro Rewatch. Anyhow, I'm just super happy to get to be here today, so thank you.
Yes, thank you. And thank everybody here for listening, for watching, for being here. We hope you enjoyed the show. We enjoyed doing it. And until next time, we'll talk again soon.